Yeah, these are her lips. What's up, Titan? Another video. Uh, Nicki Minaj and Beyonce did years back. Nicki Minaj and Beyonce. Nicki Minaj and Beyonce. Nah, I can't think of it. The only thing that's in my mind right now is either Beyonce and that one song Jay Z when it was black and white, or Beyonce 7-Eleven. I can't think of any other Beyonce video. Or Beyonce or a Bulls jersey swimsuit. I remember that picture, but I don't remember that video. I was gonna originally draw that for my OC, but no. Okay, okay. Hmm. Oh, cause yeah, Starfire has that kind of thing on. Okay. What OC were you gonna draw? Were you gonna draw Spite? You said your OC. Oh, with the hair. Yeah. Wait, what the heck? Ah. So I don't even need that. Okay, delete. Delete. I guess I'll keep. Delete. Oh. Delete. And, I guess it's fine. Not just the hair, but her style. Oh, you're trying to draw on that whole entire style? Okay. Can't wait to see what it looks like, man. I think I should open up that. It is hot. It is very hot. what? No, I've been thinking it. But I might always the hairstyle. It's like a model. Yeah, I understand. Um, I think I understand what you're talking about with how she looks. Cause you said 80s. How's it going, May? New Lotus Whip. Yeah, this is what I was talking about, Titan. This hairstyle. Alright, Zara. With this whip, I like how you're using the proportions, but you guys also remember that the elbow is as long. I mean, it's longer than the rib cage. So like, hold up. Yeah, this is fine. Yeah. So like, if I were to draw a head, a neck, and a rib cage like so, and the hips and stuff. When I do the shoulders, the elbow comes beneath that line, then the wrist, and then the hands. So the elbow should be below that line. So to get a good measurement is if you're gonna draw it like here, make sure it's the same distance. If you're gonna draw it here, make sure it's the same. If you're gonna draw it here, make sure it's the same. You understand? And it looks like the one that you have, like how her elbow is a little too short. How can a character design be so perfect? I mean, I feel like it's with the times also. Like back then, I don't know. I don't know. It just could be with the styles also. They just felt like they had more life to them. That's how I think anyway. Oh my goodness. Is that my guy Nightwing right there at the bottom corner? Yep, it is. There's something about just like 80s comics in general. Like American, Japanese. It just looks, I don't know, it just looks so good. Kind of why I like Heavenly Delusions. Oh, really? last I saw is very old, despite the manga being new. Oh, okay, I see what you mean. I never seen the manga of Heavenly Delusions. Excuse me. Have you seen the anime Capture the Stop Perfectly? Excuse me. Hmm. Okay. All right. I hope it isn't. It's bugging out. I don't know why. Hmm. What is it I can do? But yeah, how was you guys' day today? I did not ask. Apologies. But yeah, how was you guys' day today? Do anything fun, interesting? Anything new? Let me actually. Uh, Anything crazy? I like it, like the big eyebrows. That's looking pretty good. Yo, this thing is glitching. It's like lagging. Let me try something real fast. And let's try. Let's hope this fixes it. Fixes my problem here. Nothing new. Yo, May, so much stuff happened, like that has like pushed my writing so far back. And the thing is, because I had so much that I needed to write today, and then some things, came up, and then right when I was about to like, okay, I'm done with everything. I'm finally about to write. I looked at the time and it was 5. I was like, oh my gosh, I have to stream. And I almost was like, you know what? No, I'm not gonna stream today because I want to try to get this part done. But I was like, nah, I can't. Because we've been like on a bit of a streak. You know what I mean? I'm trying to keep the streak alive. But I'm definitely going to try to find some time after stream to write a bit. I have like some notepads and stuff next to me, like some sticky notes and stuff. So if anything, where is it at? I had it. I had it right here. Where? Oh, there it is, right there. I'm about to like if anything comes up to mind, I'm just going to write them down, jot them down, so I don't forget. You know, that's the plan. That is the plan. But it's really cool. I've been having a lot of fun. I've been writing a whole lot of lore to the story. Things have been moving pretty good. Is it still? Yeah, it's like still lagging. You know what? I'm gonna do another thing. I'm going to turn off the iPad. Okay, I'm just gonna turn it off, and we're gonna reboot it, and hope that helps. But it's really really cool. It's really really cool. And the thing is, because I remember mentioning this to you, but I've been like I love the three act structure so much. The three act structure is like the greatest of things to me when it comes down to structuring. Obviously, like there's other structures that work in certain areas, but um, ruling. No, I'm not in the world building phase. I mean, I'm always in the world building phase. I would say, kind of like I'm always adding more and more, and I have like a lore book that has everything. That has certain things. Like there's a thing in my world called they're like crystal things, but they are called seeds, right? Like the people call them seeds, and obviously there are different languages in my world too, and they call them different things in certain places. But like it's usually just translated to like seeds, like like things you plant. And I literally had like to go through a whole different path with that also, because then I was like, wait, hold up, if this exists, then all these other things have to happen, and then now how's the ecosystem going to change, and then how's it going to affect this and that, how is it going to affect the economy, and everything just started. I just started getting deeper and deeper into this, and I was like, hold up, I didn't even try to like I wasn't even supposed to get in here, but it's just really fun. I like it. I enjoy it. I enjoy it. um Oh, I didn't need to do that, did I? I did not. I did not need. I did not need to do that. But yeah, it's really fun. It's really fun. Writing is really really cool. And like the characters, they just. Oh, I forgot to turn on. I forgot to turn the iPad back on. But like everything, because I had to start thinking about the equipment, and like if they're going to be able to purchase this equipment because they're really far away from these cities and they only originate there, and like I have different plants in my world that are obviously affected because of the seeds in the certain regions, and it's just so much to think about. It's really cool. It's really cool. Very nice. All right, now let's go over here, and hopefully this makes it work a lot smoother. And this is the thing. There's so much to keep track of. Yeah, so much to keep track of. Yo, this thing is still. I mean, it isn't that's fault, I guess. But I have too many things open. Let me close all these. Dang, I had a lot open. That could be the reason why I was glitching out too. Let's hope. There you go. And now let's open it up. Wait, hold up. Is my pencil's disconnected? I'm not even gonna lie. I think it got worse. What happened? I'm just gonna open it up and like hope. Okay, there you go. Now it's looking better. And now that I opened it on stream, it wants to bug out again. Hmm. Okay. I don't know. Is it like how crazy I go with it? Maybe. Yeah, cause it's like really. Okay, there you go. That looks nice. Is it like lagging for you guys? Let me open it up on a second thing so I can see what it looks like. A lot of these things I would try to fix off stream, but listen, you guys are gonna just see all this stuff. Why not? But yeah, so what chapter are you on, May? What chapter do you have? Oh yeah, no, wait. Before you answer that, I mean you can answer that, but like I said, I've been like loving the three act structure. So how I structure my story. So like let's say, all right, let's let me say in a like an anime sense, right? Let's say an anime sense in like story wise. So let's say I have um um okay, let's say I have 48 episodes, right? Let's say there's 48 episodes. What I do is I break the 48 episodes. I mean, let's say there will be more, but let's say like the first season, quote unquote, or like the first arc or first giant arc is 48 episodes. So this will be the first act of the anime, right? But in this, there are, obviously, because it has to equal up to 48. So in the first core of the anime is 12 episodes, right? But in that, the first 4 episodes is the first act, right? The what is it? It's five. through 8, right? Yeah, 5 through 8 is Act 2. And then 9 through 12 is Act 3. Right? So, if that's the case, but in Act 1, Episode 1 is Act 1. Episode 2 is Act 2 Part A. And if you know like how like the 3 act structure works, the second act is longer than both of the acts because the second act is practically split in between 2 different acts. So it's practically 4, but let's just say that Act 2 Part A, and then Episode 3 is Act 2 Part B, or like the the second side, and then Episode 4 is Act 3, the conclusion, right? So I'm writing chapter 11. Excuse me. I'm close to. Okay, cool. 48 question mark. Story won't be 20. Well, 25 max. Oh, your story won't even be 20. Well, 25 max. Oh, but yeah. So I'm just giving an example. So I broke my my story like this. So each, like, let's say episode, like each episode is a 3 act structure in itself, right? So you have all the beats from like the inciting incident, the midpoint to the midpoint. I mean, obviously, because I'm just cutting it in half. Inciting incident, midpoint, resolution to conclusion, right? Each episode, but that episode in itself is leading to the finality of the act. So like in this section right here, episode 1 through 4 is like the Selmara incident. It's like where some crazy stuff happens in my story. That whole thing is the first act of the first core. So I know it's kind of complicated, but I feel like if you really think about it, it's not super complicated. So this is only the 12 of the 48, right? And as you know, like with math, 3 more 12s exist. So you'll go to 24, right? And once you get to 24, you do the same thing, right? But like I said, all of this equals up to the first act of the story, in a sense, which is 48 is Act 1. Now you're confused? Listen. It makes sense to me, but I can understand how it can be kind of confusing. I can understand how it can be confusing. But like I just love structure so much because it instantly just makes everything make sense. Like once you understand the structure behind it. Because now when I'm writing, I write the whole thing out of what I want to happen. Now I have to go back and then I have to check the beats. I'm like, okay, so what is the hook here, right? So it's hook, inciting incident, first plot point, first pinch point, midpoint, second plot point. Like it's the same thing. Second pinch point, third plot point, and then climax, like to resolution or denouement, or I forget how you say it. So I have to, like, when I'm writing the whole thing, I'm like, okay, what is the hook of this episode? Okay, like how do I? Because obviously it's not all going to be the same, but it's obviously led up from the last episode if we're going that way. And then what's the inciting incident? What's the first plot point, pinch point, midpoint, second pinch point, third point, and climax. And then while I have all that, I take that and I'm like, okay, so this right here needs to also lead up to the climax of the end, right? Of this like this, what am I trying to say? What am I trying to say? I mean, I guess like this core, like this box right here. It's wrapped up perfectly. It has this section right here needs to be split into that. So, like I said, 1 to 4 episodes. But let's say I have 6 episodes. I have to split it into that way also. So I have to say like the first act has to be split into like 2 episodes, and then the second act 2 episodes, third act 2 episodes, or something like that. So that's how I break my thing down. My story has 2 seasons and 8 episodes. A season max minimum. Okay. You're even confused. I mean, it's not confused. It's just hard to explain. But like, it makes a lot of sense when I think about it. I'm like, yeah, of course. Like every time I write something, I have to be thinking about where is this leading, right? So I can at least put some nuggets in there to lead to that point. Like, for like, there's a moment in my story where this big incident happens, like a big crazy thing happens, right? Seeds are involved, like nobles are involved. The only way that will pay off is if I plant some nuggets, right? But I have to plant the nuggets in a way that makes it like, oh shoot, so this is why this person was out here in this location. So he was mining for this. Oh, so the oh, okay. You know what I'm saying? And it only makes sense to me when I think about it this way, because now I know I cannot, like, every episode or every scene isn't just random, right? It can't be random. Like, it all has to lead up to something. So let's erase all this now. So everything must lead to somewhere. Foreshadowing, yeah, foreshadowing. But like, yeah, everything just needs to lead somewhere. So every action that takes place isn't pointless. Like even if, because there's like moments in my story um where it's like you can say it's kind of like a chill moment where everybody's just relaxing and it's not like nothing is really progressing, but that isn't meaningless. Like it isn't just a meaningless section. Like this is leading up to somewhere. It might be in the dialogue, it might be in the visuals, right? Or like how, like when I say visuals too, it can just be like what I tell you. So like the location, it's very sunny out, or it's very the rain hasn't stopped in this location for many weeks, right? So now you're just like it's in there, and you're like, why the heck is it raining for like weeks on end? Like what is happening, right? And then later on, then you end up finding out there's this person who's mining in this location where the seas are involved, and this is what's affecting this specific location because rain isn't stopping here, and other people are thinking of religious reasons, and it's just all these things are leading up to something, you know. So that's how I think about it. When I think about it, when it's structured that way to me, everything makes sense. Everything makes sense. That's the reason why I love the 3 act structure so much. But obviously, you can do that with other things like the Dan Harmon story circle. I've seen people use it that way as well, and I like to use it. But when I'm writing scenes, usually, like if I'm writing a scene, I like to think of the Dan Harmon story circle because the Dan Harmon story circle usually focuses on a person completing the circle, right? And when there's a scene going on, who is the main person of this scene, right? Even if it's like a group, like what, like I try to think of one person, like even if it's a group, who's the main person in the group that's benefiting or losing from this scene, and then I use them. Now I'm following you. Okay, yeah. So that's what I've been doing. Did you check Gen Chat? I checked Gen Chat. You didn't tell me to check Gen Chat. Now you're asking me if I checked Gen Chat. No, I didn't check Gen Chat because you didn't tell me to check Gen Chat. Now I'm checking Gen Chat now. What the heck you sent me this for, Zero? Zero, this is why I don't like, Cause I don't understand. Zura just be posting things just to post them. Oh, this is how I want Lotus' body to look. Really? Okay. All right. If that's the case, you're gonna have to really study your muscle anatomy. What's up, Brad? How's it going, man? You're gonna have to study your muscle anatomy, Zura. But before that, make sure you study your shapes, because that is very important. And there's like a scene that I was working on May, right? And it's pretty like dark and crazy. It's not. I mean, it's pretty dark, but it's like it doesn't hit us that it is. I mean, it does on a moral sense, but like when it happens, we don't really care too much. I mean, we do. How do I explain it? It's kind of like the whole um kill the cat. Is that the thing? Save the cat. It's the whole thing of like the whole save the cat thing. Wait, what the heck did I do that? It's the whole idea of save the cat. The reason why it's so impactful is because typically we think of like animals like cats and dogs and stuff as quote unquote innocent. So if you were to kick a cat or save a cat, then you're instantly like looked at better. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like that. So we'll see that it's sad because of what is happening, but not really on a like we don't really care too much about the character that it happens to. But then like things get pretty tricky, and this is why I really like to use the whole idea of the three arc structure because it really just helps me understand. Okay, so after this happens, what makes sense like for me to go? Because I can write a whole lot of things after, and then people are here, people are talking about what happened, and da da da. But then it's just like, yeah, but like, how do we continue the story? And then now it's like, okay, so who is the villain of this situation, right? Let's go to them. Let's go to the people who caused this, right? Let's go check in on them. Where are they at? What are they doing right now, right? How is this going to affect decisions that our characters need to make later? Everything just starts to move and flow better. Yeah, like kick the dog. Yeah, like for and it's so interesting how the Incredibles flipped that. So it was like he did save the cat technically, but he did it in like a really aggressive way. So it was like a, I mean, yeah, he did save the cat at the end, but like, did he have to shake the tree like that? He shaked it pretty aggressively. Excuse me. Excuse me. All right, so we have that, and I think this is. Wait. Let me liquefy the hair a bit. But yeah, Titan, are you gonna end up uh drawing it? I mean, I guess you've always really liked like the older styles also, like with the JoJo's and everything.
Coco Lee was a singer in China. She's not just a singer in China. She was an absolute legend, a household name. If I really had to compare her to somebody, it would maybe be Shakira, in the sense that you look
Shakira,
at Coco Lee
Shakira.
and you think, this is a woman who's got her life together. This is a woman who knows what she's doing. She's so established in the industry. She's not one of these people that's trying to get some fame on an award show. She's got it made. I mean, the talent speaks for itself. You could say whatever you want about Coco Lee. She's too loud, she's too strong, she's too outspoken. But that woman is talented. The way that she sings and dances and performs, I mean, her stage presence is out of this world. But she's turning 50 soon. And that's not to say that she aged out of the industry or anything like that. But it did seem like Coco was
Hips don't
personally
lie.
making the decision to kind of take a more backseat approach to the industry. She was focusing on different business ventures behind the scenes. She wasn't constantly at red carpets or award shows anymore. But somehow, Coco Lee still maintained this crazy cult following. I mean, she had this fan group with thousands of people that she would interact with almost on like a daily to sometimes weekly basis. They were all so excited for anything that she put out. If she was in a commercial, they would watch it. They would stream a commercial, you know? And now she's going to be, this is in 2022, so last year, she announced that she was going to be a judge on The Voice of China. So of course, her fans, they're freaking out. They're so excited. Her season comes and goes. It wraps up, and she sends this heartfelt message, this audio, a few months after the season is over. She sends this audio group chat to her fan group. She's thanking them for their support, thanking them for gifts that they might have sent, telling them how much that she misses them and she's gonna talk to them soon.
我也非常想念你们哦，爱你爱你。Thank you so much for the gifts. Beautiful. Love you guys.
I mean, just overall, if you know
Wow.
Coco Lee, she was constantly just bringing a lot of positivity to her fan group. She never brought drama. She never complained about the hardships of being a celebrity. She genuinely was just constantly smiling. That's how people remember her. But the very same day that she sent that audio message, Coco Lee would be dead. And
Dang.
nobody had any answers. Coco chose to leave. She chose to end her life.
Oh,
And it just didn't make sense
it
for
was like a
people.
self.
No one could have predicted this. There were no signs to the public, at least. Netizens were totally shaken up by just the shock and the grief. She was always smiling. She was always so excited and happy. I mean, technically speaking, she was perfect. That's what people said. She had this incredible, legendary career. She was the first Chinese woman to perform at the Oscars.
Dang,
She
2000,
created
huh?
this iconic empire around her talents that just radiated positivity. I mean, she was very well loved by the public. She wasn't even a very controversial figure. She was also married to a billionaire. She was friends with some of the most incredible people on this planet. Beyonce, Jackie Chan, they were all at her wedding, you know? And I mean, from the outside,
It's always
it did
weird
seem
having
like her
celebrities
life
at your
was
wedding.
perfect.
I'm just like, what the heck?
So originally there was a lot of conversations about depression online between netizens, and how she always smiled, never showed any of that sadness to any of her fans. But not too long after her passing, a tweet starts circulating. A tweet from a former contestant on The Voice of China, the show that she had just been a judge on.
Is that
And
a
they
guy?
stated that they wanted to make a public statement and stand up for Coco and for justice. They stated that The Voice of China was rigged. Every producer on that show was there to make money under the table, that the top 10 contestant spots can basically be bought with money. They said it's not about talent. And Coco
I
being
bet.
a judge on that show, they're confident that she stood up for the students who didn't have the money, but they had the talent, and now she's dead. He said, we need justice for Coco.
That's how it is, really.
That-
I remember watching a video and this guy was talking. He said, like, how many people in the world do you think can sing? How many people you can think can rap? You know, how many of these people in the world do you think can do all these great things that we, quote unquote, praise our celebrities for being able to do? Probably a lot, right? But nobody really gets to those places. Really, right? It's kind of like these people are chosen somehow. And I was like, yo, yeah, that is, yeah. It's kind of like these people are chosen for real. And you got to understand that's how it is.
Citizens start freaking out. But the next day, something very interesting happens. That post is taken down, and a very creepy tweet is put in its place. The former contestant apologized and stated that his post yesterday was based off zero evidence and facts. He says he
Oh, yeah, they came
apologizes
after
to
him.
society.
They
but
they
also
sent him
to
a
the
picture
Voice
of his house,
China.
bro. They sent him a picture of his house. They were like, is this you right here? I'm telling you, bro, to this day, that's how you get me, bro. You don't gotta say nothing else. If I say something that offends you, and like without anything else, you just sent me a picture of my house and say, "This you right here?" I lost, bro, because I'm like, "Oh, you know where I lay my head at night? Oh, so that's a threat." You went, "No, that's no threat. I'm just asking. Is this you right here?" Crazy, man, crazy.
He encourages netizens to not spread any false narratives and or rumors. It felt like a gunpoint apology. But none of that would matter when a private 9-minute audio clip of Coco Lee before her death was released. Because that audio clip would reveal that the Coco Lee, I mean someone as beloved, as famous, and as strong financial standing as she was, that Coco Lee, in the eyes of the public, was bullied, abused, and humiliated to death by the Voice of China.
28年做一个歌手，站在台上被人侮辱，这个叫侮辱，被欺负。有人在乎这个感受吗？你
Dang.
们现在知道我的故事了吗？
Oh, and Zura, by the way, she can't be on The Voice. She can't be singing on it or judging it. All right, let's add that in there. Let's add that in there too. I'm pretty sure I didn't mention it before, but yeah, let's add that in there.
Full show notes are available at rottenmangopodcast.com. This is a Chinese case. We had one of our wonderful Chinese researchers gather all the data, since most of it was in Mandarin. But as always with international cases, or really just any case, if anything gets lost in translation, or if there's anything at all that we missed, please let us know in the comments. Also, for my visual watchers, I have a giant sty on my left eye, so if it twitches, I'm sorry. But with that being said, do you guys watch The Voice?
Yeah.
Okay.
Loved it.
No.
It's the singing competition. If you guys
Like,
don't
I've
watch
seen
it. And I think
clips.
it's still very, very
I've seen
famous,
clips
especially
before,
in
but
the
I
US.
never
But
like
I remember
watched
when
the
it
whole
first
episode.
came out. I mean, the whole game show aspect of the singing competition was just so fascinating to see. I'm gonna give you guys a little debriefing if you haven't seen the show or if you like vaguely remember it in little bits and pieces. But each season, 4 judges, celebrity singers that act as judges and mentors, they're brought onto the show. And they're gonna build their own team of students that they're gonna coach throughout the season. And each round, they're gonna lose students here and there until just one student, one contestant, is the winner of that season of The Voice. So each judge is trying to get all the good students in their team so that at least one of them can win the show. And now the show can be split up into a few distinct portions: blind auditions, battles, knockouts, live shows. The blind auditions are like the coolest part. That's what The Voice is known for, right? The 4 celebrity judges, they're sitting in these big
that's the only
red
part that I
chairs
know.
with this giant red button in front of them, and their backs are turned to the contestants. So imagine someone is singing behind
I
me.
only saw Rap of
And
China.
just by judging
Rap of China, is
the
that like
voice
rapping
of
in
that
China?
contestant,
I mean, I'm
without
guessing.
being able to see them or to see their stage presence, how they carry themselves, they will push that button if they like that voice. And that means I want you on my team. Now, if only one judge turns around for the contestant,
That
the
person gets
contestant
you.
is automatically on that judge's team.
But
If
if
multiple
all of
judges
them
turn
do,
around,
then they
then
have
it's
to
up to the
choose.
contestant to choose, okay, do I want to go with this guy or this woman? Like, who do I want to go with? And there's drama. You know, the judges are fighting each other to get the good contestants on their team. And it's awkward when none of the judges turn their chairs.
Yeah, Chinese rap. Okay.
And the contestant is just kind of standing there like, well, okay then, my dreams are dead. So, yeah. I mean, from there, the show kind of proceeds like you would imagine any singing competition. And the whole premise of the show, like the whole idea of the show, is based on the fact that you are judged by nothing but your voice. Your voice alone. That's it. The concept works so well that there's 60 different renditions of it, like 60 different adaptations.
Wow.
The most popular ones are obviously The Voice of America, and recently The Voice of China has been taking off. A lot of the spin-offs, they'll stay true to the original concept, or they'll have their own like little twists and added rules. But The Voice of China, when it premiered, it was an instant hit. It had 120 million TV viewers
Dang.
and 400 million internet viewers during the
Wow.
first season. 400 million is insane. That is more than the entire population of the United States.
Wow.
I mean, I'm sure that some of these netizens watching were not all from China and they're from other countries too, but it was huge.
I have a
But
question.
there's
Like, I know it's like a vague number about how many people are in the United States, right? But like, how would you really know? Because I know there's a lot of people out there, like in the Amish country and stuff. Some of them, they never go into hospitals, so they just be popping kids out, right? And none of them have ever been in the system nowhere. So like, how do you really know? Titan, I know Titan has some scientific question or a scientific answer in there, but like, honestly, it just has to be a number, like a ballpark, right? Because there's no way that they would know exactly how many people, right? They're like, it's around 400 million. You know, we'd like to think it's around 400 million, but like over there in some woods in I don't know, somewhere in Texas, in some woods somewhere, there's like a whole yeah, I was thinking about a census, but like imagine, because like I already told you I want to go out there and live on some farm or something, right? Imagine I just be out there popping like 100 kids, right? And then, you know, the kids grow up, end up, you know, getting some people, bringing them to the farm, pop out another like 100, 200 kids. I create like a village, you know what I'm saying? So I got a village up out there, right? So now, is that calculated? Do they got like the drones looking at me like, oh snap, he popped out another one? Hey, write that down. Or they just guessing. They kind of like guessing a little bit. I wasn't paying attention. Yeah, of course, Diane, you weren't paying attention. We'll just move on by then. If I'm writing a scene for a story, right? Usually I give a quick overview of what I want to be. Yep. Think of how to add the story and how to grow characters using the setting and time. I mean, that could work for you too, but I feel like if you do it that way, a lot of things can end up getting lost. Because I used to do it that way. I used to just write every single thing that I think it needs to happen. Boom, 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 boom. But then at a certain point, things were just happening. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like, doing it the way that you're doing it is kind of like you're dropping every single domino piece one by one, if that makes sense. But how I structure it here, if you pay taxes, they'll find out. I know, but this is what I'm saying, May. Like, there's people out in the wilderness who be popping out kids. I can guarantee it, right? There's somebody out there that, that don't be writing everything down, like they in America, but like they not in America. And listen, I'm just talking. It's not like I know somebody specifically, but I feel like there has to be somewhere, right? Like, could you truly say with confidence there is not one child in America that the U.S. government doesn't know about? I mean, you can probably be right with the drones and everything, but like, there's not one child, or there's not like 10 children, or 100. First of all, they literally were just talking about, like, and this is crazy to say, but those people that came across the border a little while ago, there was like this court hearing. They literally said there was like something thousand missing children that they didn't know about. Missing children. They said that there was like, I forget how many thousands of children came across the border that they didn't know where they were. And yes, you can say they're faking ignorance because of all, the crazy stuff that be happening. But like, I feel like if I'm, just saying, okay, what if they truly don't know? Then they could definitely not know. There's people in America that they don't know about. You know what I mean? Like somebody out in the fields, for real, Like in like Grand Canyon and stuff, like under them, like they build their own civilization. I mean, no, the Grand Canyon, not the Grand Canyon. What is that place that we saw in the last video? It wasn't the last video. It was a couple streams ago. But there was a place where, some stuff was going on. You heard of that unfortunate freak? Exactly, right? So like, if that let's say that is true, they truly don't know where they are, then that means that they don't know where everybody is. And if that's the case, you could, like, you could go out there somewhere and they won't know. They won't know. You living on the land, you eating the food, you cutting the hides, like you literally living on land. Like there's no supermarkets that you be going to. You don't have a phone. You don't have none of that. You're literally just out there. They won't know. I don't know how we got to that conversation, but it just came to mind, apparently.
The saying in China, the water is deeper than you think. And it's, the saying?
Yeah, 水很深. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it's used to describe situations of when someone jumps into a lake thinking, the bottom of the lake, probably just a few inches deeper than my feet go, right? But in reality, just below your flailing little legs, there's hundreds of feet of dark, muddy, cold water with God knows what swimming around. The Voice of China was worse than that. So at first, the rumors of drama were circulating around the show, and they were almost kind of like cute and goofy rumors. There was a clip circulating online of one of the judges, and in this clip,
I truly believe, to an extent, all of these game shows and all of these things are rigged. I truly believe, to an extent. Like, not all of them will be, like, there's always like biases and things in there, like here and there. Oh, really? So you're saying that your great father owns this thing, and they have this, and this thing happens with that, and I feel like all of these things are rigged to an extent. Like I'm talking about these super game, like these game show type things. Like, it isn't just the best singer, because obviously even that is subjective. So, like, I feel like they have to be rigged to like an extent.
this judge looks down.
Yo, okay, this is off topic, but I was watching this clip of this ex-CIA guy, and he was like, it was crazy because he was literally talking about how some of these talk shows and stuff, they be like low key brainwashing you, bro. And he talked about this. He talked about this random occurrence. This guy said when he was the guy who was interviewing him, he said, "Can you give me an example?" And he said, "Yeah, sure. So like in input like late night show or something, he would say something, right? He would say something that he wants you to believe, and then right after that, while you're processing what he said, he'll make a joke, and then the audience will laugh, right? And then he was talking about how that does something to your mind to make you instantly kind of okay what he said, right? And then he was talking about like how over time it ends up rewiring your mind to think that way. And I was like, what the freak? We getting like brainwashed like that? I was like, oh shoot. It was crazy. It was crazy. Did you even see my comment? You know what, Zara? Like I said, I don't know if you just post your comment and leave for an hour, but I read it, I mentioned it, I even gave the example of the dominoes, and you weren't paying attention? Oh, that's on you, boy. That's on you, bro. That's on you. I gave this whole example with domino pieces and how you're dropping each domino piece, and you just decided not to pay attention. All right, Zara, listen. I'm not repeating myself, my guy. But it's crazy. It's truly crazy how they be doing that.
Kind of bends their chin towards their chest, right? And they have this split-second reaction, just for like a minute second, and their face expression looks like it's saying, oh my god, what's that smell, right? It's like they look like they're getting choked up by their own body odor. And netizens were joking online that it's because they have to wear the same thing every day. Do these celebrities not have an outfit budget? Like, what's going on? Do they at least get to dry clean it after every shoot day? What's going on? Now, it's a known detail that the voice judges, I believe in all the renditions, they wear the same clothes during the blind auditions.
What the heck?
Which I'm sure takes like a month to film.
Why?
At least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of netizens speculated, wait a minute, is this done so that producers can manipulate the edits of the final cut that's going to air? But industry
you see what I said? Some stuff be going on.
professionals, they argued, it's literally for continuity. I mean, you know, you got to edit a show to make it more fast-paced and engaging. Sometimes there is an audition from day 1 that's going to be aired after an audition from day 5 because maybe that audition is a bit more emotional. So we want to save it as the end
Good
audition.
TV. Good TV.
It's not that big of a deal. They argued, it's not that deep. The show must go on. But then it goes deeper. There was another clip that goes viral in China. One of the judges had pressed the button for a contestant. Her chair dramatically turns around, and this is what she looks like. She's wearing black, and her hair is pinned straight, okay? The judge. Her hair is straight, she's wearing black. And it's not like the minute that she turns around, the scene is over. You know, usually the judges will either fight for the contestants if multiple judges have turned their chairs, or they're gonna give their personal input on the contestant's performance. So when this judge...
How does the brain remember that? I forgot, but can't remember what I forgot. I'd be thinking like that, and I'd be pissed. I think I get what you're saying.
starts
It's like
complimenting this
I forgot something. Like, wasn't I saying something? And you're like, you forgot something. Yeah, but what did you? I mean,
student. Suddenly her hair is curly. She's still wearing the same outfit, but her hair went from straight to boing boing curl.
Oh wow.
Okay.
So
So it was a different day.
yeah, so unless they paused the whole production for her assistant to run on stage and curl the judge's hair out of nowhere, it made no sense.
Huh.
How could her hair go from straight to curly in one scene if that is supposedly from one fluid continuous shot? Imagine in the middle of this sentence, my hair is now curly. It's just confusing. Netizens were wondering, is this even a reality show anymore? They theorized what could have happened behind the scenes for this kind of scenario to unfold. So some of the netizens are speculating the producers didn't like what she said about that student, and they maybe had her sit back in the chair and say new comments and then edited it back in to make it seem like it was happening in real time. Others speculated that maybe they did a double take of the audition. They filmed this particular audition twice. The first time, the judge had straight hair. The second time, the judge had curly hair. And they just mashed the two together in a final edit. That was a theory, but ultimately that begs another question. Why would they do that? That seems very unfair. You get one shot. Another speculation was maybe the judge was saying all these nice things about another contestant's performance,
Yeah, and they
but
showed
the
that part
producers
there.
cut it out of that segment and made it seem like she was saying it about this particular contestant instead.
Wow. I guess they can do whatever.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, so people are going crazy online. I mean, if any of these speculations were proven true, it would completely discredit the whole show. I mean, the whole point of the show. So industry professionals, they argued, it could have easily been a technical issue. With so many moving parts in a production like this, it wouldn't be out of this world for something to go wrong during a segment. Maybe there was a mic or camera problem, and the judges were asked to go back and refilm just that portion. I mean, they probably try to keep it as true to the original as possible.
Yeah,
but it's not like a
yeah.
YouTube video where they can just be like, sorry guys, the mic just cut out. You know? They argued, it's not that deep. The show must go on. But then it goes
They always have an
deeper.
excuse.
Part of what makes The Voice so fun to watch is when all the judges are sitting in these big red chairs facing away from the contestants, and you see their faces reacting to the singing. You know, you see some of them light up, you see some of them get so enthusiastic. Maybe they're hovering their hand over the button, they're hesitant because they only have like 3 more slots on their team left, but then they dramatically smash that button. That's the whole point. There's even that chemistry element between the judges that adds another layer of drama and excitement. So one particular season on The Voice of China, a male contestant was singing and the judges were all kind of like eyeing each other, saying things like, "You're not turning?" Then another judge would say, "You're not turning? Are you turning? Who's gonna turn?" The energy was so strange. It felt like each judge wanted the other judges to turn, but they themselves didn't want to turn. They're more so encouraging each other, like, you should turn. You're not turning? Come on, you should turn. Even after the contestant finished the song, none of the judges turned. So you're like, okay, in situations like this, that means the contestant is unfortunately eliminated. No judge picked them. But the contestant is still standing there, just staring at the backs of the 4 red chairs. The host is not coming on stage like, "Sorry, kid, you've been cut." Nothing's happening. The judges are still kind of like side-eyeing each other until finally, the youngest judge of that season, Henry, pushes his button and his chair turns. It is so awkward to watch. Okay, think about it. The natural reaction for Judge Henry now is to look at the contestant, because that's a big part of the show, matching the voice in the face. Hearing this deep, raspy voice of someone that's filled with so much emotion, you think that they've lived 3 lives and went through 24 divorces the way they sing about love, and then you smash your button, your chair turns around, and it's like a 13-year-old kid. And you're like, wow, I was not expecting that, right? Henry doesn't even glance at the contestant. Instead, he looks at the other judges, and it's almost this weird unspoken look of, you owe me, I did this for you. Like, I took one for the team. And you see the other judges kind of let out a sigh. Like, okay, so it's settled. This contestant is now on Henry's team. But the rest of the judges, they're always turned to face the contestant in the end, and they can even talk to the contestant even if they're not going to be on the same team. So one of the judges was named Joker. Do you know Joker?
Yeah, love Joker.
What is he, like pop, R&B?
Just pop, I guess. Just like mainstream, like
Interesting.
yeah, really popular.
Okay, so correct me if I'm wrong, he's notorious for being brutally honest, for being very blunt.
Yeah. I think so. I think there's some famous like.
Zo,
event
did you see it?
happened
Did I
on
see what, Zara?
reality TV.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that, okay? So people find Joker very refreshing because he just doesn't really care about money. He says whatever he wants on every single show and every single interview. He turns around and looks at the contestant and asks, "Do you know why we took so long? We were deciding who should turn." The contestant just kind of laughs awkwardly, and one of the other judges tries to cut this very strange, bizarre tension by saying, whoa, wait, let me explain, everyone. It sounds like we were pushing you onto each other, and trust me, I wanted to turn my chair, but your way of singing, it's not something that I think that I'm capable of guiding and teaching in a way that would be helpful to you.
Okay.
Okay, which if you like watch The Voice, there's country singers that are taking on not country singers. You know what I mean? That's not the whole point, right? Another judge chimes in to tell him that his tempo and beat was flawless. But that's so puzzling, because if he's flawless, why didn't you also turn your chair? And if you watch other clips of really any season of The Voice of China, you will see the judges passionately fighting for contestants to be a part of their team. Sometimes they'll even resort to trying to buy the other judges off. Like, I'll buy you a car, I'll buy you a cake. Like, they use egg yolk. They're trying to be cute, you know, and it's all part of the fun
the
and
egg
games.
yolk.
So if all of them had nothing but spectacular things to say about this contestant, why weren't they all fighting for him? Side note, the performance, it's not bad. It's okay. It's kind of like that high school friend that goes out during the karaoke nights. They're okay, but you're not like, oh my gosh,
like blown
you
away.
should drop a SoundCloud. You're just like,
Mark,
okay.
is there? I'm not responding.
So the
again.
whole moment was just strange.
This is now the third time you ask me this after I already respond the first time, and then I respond to you the second time. Okay, yeah.
The contestant
No,
is
sir, I
laughing
didn't look
awkwardly
at it.
the entire time. Joker and Henry, the other judge, they look like they would rather be anywhere else. And this is when the rumor started that you could pay for a chair turn. I don't know how this came to be. In the beginning, it started as a number. Later, it was confirmed. The starting rate per chair was said to be around $65,000.
$65,000 for
Wow.
a turn chair.
That's a lot. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's a lot, but at the same time, like, I guess you could have a shot,
Yeah.
like, in the industry.
Yeah, a lot of people, I guess it's a lot if you're personally paying that, but if you're an industry plant and maybe a label is paying it, then it's not a lot at all. Or if your parents are loaded,
Yeah.
that's crazy. So $65,000 a chair turn, and people online were saying that makes sense. Even the way the contestant was just standing there after his performance, he doesn't really look sad or upset. He has this body language of, I paid, so I'm not gonna leave until I get my money's worth.
Oh,
Like, he's just standing there so
dang.
confidently, not like, oh
Christina,
man.
how's it going?
He's just waiting for a chair to turn, which is not how it works. Now, here's where things get interesting. So Joker, the judge that I was telling you about, the one that's very no nonsense, can't be bought type of judge, the assumption was he was actually brought onto the show to get rid of all these rumors about the show being rigged, because he has a history of walking off staged reality shows. So The Voice of China was like, this guy, he's known for not putting up with all this BS. If we get him as a judge on our show, all of these rumors that we've had so far about the clothes, the hair being straight and then curly and all of that, it's going to go
You
away.
miss Naya?
In the past, Joker went viral for being part of another singing competition. This was a few years before he was on The Voice of China. But that show was all sorts of unhinged. One of the contestants was an AI-generated singer.
Yeah,
A
I've seen that. Yeah.
A virtual singer that was edited into the show in post. So there was always this empty space left on stage, and the other contestants would just have to pretend like the AI animation was standing there, floating there, I guess, if you'd rather. During an elimination round, Joker said that he was approached by the producers of the show, and they said, can you vote for the AI? Just this round, okay? And he's like, yeah, no, I'm not going to vote for the AI. That's really dumb. And they said, listen, the AI is going to lose. We know that everybody's voting for this guy or this girl. They're not going to vote for the AI. We just want you to vote for the AI because we don't want it to lose so ugly, you know, by such a landslide. And you're wondering, who cares about the AI's feelings? I thought they don't have feelings. There is still a full company with their own personal interest behind the AI singer. The company that was creating the AI for the show had obviously spent an enormous amount of money on it, and it would be embarrassing if the AI lost by a landslide. So begrudgingly, Joker was like, okay, fine. During the live taping eliminations, Joker voted for the AI to stay, believing that it would be eliminated that round. But the results came out, and the AI won by just 1 point. and was going to stay for a round while a human singer had been eliminated instead. So obviously, Joker was played. The producers lied to him, telling him that the AI was going to lose for sure. They just wanted to help save face. In reality, they wanted the AI to win that round. So Joker starts freaking out on stage. He said he was lied to by producers, duped by the producers. He said he would have never ever voted for an AI if he knew that a real singer would go home and lose their dreams because of some sort of bot. He told the live audience and the cameras that the producers had said this to him behind the scenes. He takes off his mic and walks off the stage. The show was somehow able to edit this out of the final version of what was aired, but a lot of people in the live audience had actually recorded it and leaked it to the internet. The show was under fire and they had to, quote, let the AI go. And Joker was forever known in the industry as someone who just could not be bought by money. Side note, this part is actually a lot darker than it seems because people think that the intentions these companies were pushing AI singers was all about money. Money for labels. Because there's so much money involved when you sign human singers. People have bills, they have rent due, and as they get bigger, you have to pay them more of the shares of the profits. It's probably a dream for record labels to be able to replace all these real people with AI singers. So instead of paying Bruno Mars $2.9 million for a concert, all they would have to do is pay a software company next to nothing for the AI and keep all the profits. So yeah, Joker was pissed. And now he's brought onto The Voice of China in hopes that if everything goes smoothly this season, people will stop saying that The Voice of China is rigged. People will calm down. That's what the producers were hoping for. That's not what they got. They wanted the AI to win that round. So Joker starts freaking out on stage. He said he was lied to by producers, duped by the producers. He said he would have never ever voted for an AI if he knew that a real singer would go home and lose their dreams because of some sort of bot.
Good job, Joker.
He told the live audience and the cameras that the producers had said this to him behind the scenes. He takes off his mic and walks off the stage. The show was somehow able to edit this out of the final version of what was aired, but a lot of people in the live audience had actually recorded it and leaked it to the internet. The show was under fire and they had to, quote, let the AI go. And Joker was forever known in the industry as someone who just could not be bought by money.
Good on him, man.
This part is actually a lot darker than it seems because people think that the intentions these companies were pushing AI singers was all about money. Money for labels.
Obviously.
Because there's so much money involved when you sign human singers. People have bills, they have rent due, and as they get bigger, you have to pay them more of the shares of the profits. It's probably a dream for record labels to be able to replace all these real people with AI singers. So instead of paying Bruno Mars $2.9 million for a concert, all they would have to do is pay a software company next to nothing for the AI and keep all the profits. So yeah, Joker was pissed. And now he's brought onto The Voice of China in hopes that if everything goes smoothly this season, people will stop saying that The Voice of China is rigged. People will calm down. That's what the producers were hoping for. That's not what they got. Another clip goes viral this season when 3 judges' chairs turned for one single contestant. This is a big deal, right? Now, after the performance, Joker's chair was also turned so that he could participate in these conversations. And he just sits back in his chair. He almost has this smug look on his face and he says, I'm so curious. I'm so curious. He's talking to the 3 judges. Why did you guys turn your chairs?
He was like, oh, you know what? Can you guys tell me what did you like about the singing for real? Like what was the best thing about her singing or his singing that you liked?
Almost implying that the contestant wasn't that talented. And I know that sounds really, really harsh and pretty messed up, but the allegations here are that these contestants paid to win, so I don't think the Joker just wanted to make someone feel self-conscious about their skills. Another thing about this is usually when there's 1 to 2 judges turning their chairs for a single contestant, it's a big moment for the show. The judges are passionate about this, they're screaming, they're like yelling, their hands are in the air, they're dramatic, they're smashing their fist on the button, their jaws are on the ground. But the energy for this round, even though 3 judges turned their chairs, was pretty chill. It's very lackluster. It seemed like none of the judges had skin in the game. They were like, I'd like it if you picked me. Anyway, It's rumored that the Joker was angering all the producers by all of his sly little comments here and there. And in addition to cutting down his screen time by a lot in the final cut of The Voice, they would allegedly play games with him behind the scenes. Allegedly, the producers knew that Joker had a stomach problem where he can't really digest seafood well. And the producers knew that. So during an episode where all the judges were sitting around eating and talking about their experience on the show and about what their plans were, they purposely only prepared seafood.
Wow.
In another clip from
Wait.
this season, a judge will, his
Is it like lagging? Is that what you're saying, Titan?
chair ends up turning while both of his hands are in his lap. And he's even heard muttering under his breath, "What the hell?"
The chair turned by itself?
That's what it seems like. Yeah. Yeah.
What?
But industry professionals argued that maybe it was just poor editing that made these scenes awkward. Or there could have been other things going on, technical issues that the judges were distracted by or more focused on. And that's why their reactions didn't seem as natural on these
Why is
scenes.
the left like?
Or some argued
You
about the
getting pause
part
and
where they
pause?
kept telling each other to turn
So
their chair
you're
for
saying
the
I just laugh
contestant.
like that in general?
Some argued, as a judge, you want a diverse
the
team
audience.
of different types of voices. So maybe he was perfect, he was flawless, but they already had that voice on their team. They argued, it's not that deep. The show must go on. But then it goes deeper. So I have to tell you all of these things. I know it's about Coco, but I have to tell you all of these things because this truly sets the tone about what's about to happen. So Eason Chen was another legendary judge on The Voice of China. Now, side note, it's not Ethan, but E-A-S-O-N, so Eason. Eason Chen is like the Bruno Mars of China, from what I can tell.
Yeah,
Which is-
legend.
okay.
Legend.
Everyone knows him, everyone loves him, but he's not like super, super active. It doesn't seem like he's getting paparazzi'd every day, but he's like household name, so well respected. He's invited to be a judge on the season of The Voice. Now, most artists, they're still kind of honored. First of all, the pay is great. It's about $2 to $3 million per season per judge.
2 to 3 million per
which
season.
I thought was crazy, right? But then I looked up the America voice judges,
Mm-hmm.
13 to 25 million per season. Yeah, Ariana Grande was the highest paid at 25 million per season.
Wow.
The rest usually fall around 13.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow, wow, wow.
per
money,
season.
money.
Huh.
Yeah, so the pay is great, and it solidifies your status in the industry as someone who's talented enough to mentor. It's not you're just a cute face with like an okay voice. This means people want to learn from you. You've got a powerhouse inside of your lungs, you know? But Eason, he doesn't really care for all of that. He's been established. The only reason that he agreed to be a judge on the show was because he wanted to know, is the show rigged? Are the rumors true? Later in an interview, Eason talked about his strongest memory from being a judge on The Voice. He said there was this one particular day. He was sitting on that big red chair with the rest of the judges, and he was listening to one of the contestants. He said, you know, she's okay. Just okay. So he didn't turn his chair. He's not looking for okay students. He wants the best of the best. Apparently, the other judges felt the same. Not a single judge turned their chair. But still, at the end, even if they don't choose this contestant, all their chairs turn and they're like, oh, sorry, bye, right? It's unfortunate, but this is a show about talent. So after filming wrapped that day, a producer comes up to Eason, making small talk, and just casually asks, oh yeah, what did you think about that last girl that nobody chose? Just okay, I guess. He didn't think anything of it until a month later. They're still filming the blind auditions, and he's got this little earpiece in his ear so that he can hear producers talk to him. That's not an implication that the show is rigged, by the way. This is
Yeah,
very standard on
makes
most
sense.
shows, so producers can tell talent to look at a specific camera or to adjust their mics, things of that nature. So Eason is sitting in his chair getting deja vu. He's like, wait a minute, I know that voice. I know that voice. I just heard that voice. Where did I hear this voice? And it clicked. It was the same girl that was just okay from a month ago.
Wow.
So they
But
played
that
him
wouldn't make sense
again.
because she would have been eliminated. Why would she get another chance at the blind auditions? So he's sitting there thinking about all of this when
She
a
paid.
voice in his ear, literally the earpiece, is telling him, press it, press the button, press it, press the button. Maybe the other judges had gotten the same message because at this point, one judge had already turned their chair. But the producers are telling Eason to also turn his chair so that the two judges could fight over the contestant and create a dramatic moment. What's crazy is that when Eason's chair eventually turned around to face the contestant, he was right. It was the same girl from a month ago, and not only that, she was wearing the same exact outfit as the first time.
Wow.
Immediately after filming, Eason said he went up to that producer and was like, "Is that your friend or something?" And they were like, "What? No, I just thought, all the judges said she was okay last time, so why not bring her back since everyone liked her?" Eason went on the show to find out if the rumors were true. He would come out later in interviews and said, "Your talent is secondary. If you pay the mentors, they'll definitely turn. And the scariest part is it's only about $70,000. And sometimes it even goes on sale where you only have to pay about $13,000 to $40,000 to get a chair turn."
Wow.
Industry professionals. Did you watch The Voice of China?
Yeah. I know. I watch clips
And
on YouTube.
Did you ever know about these rumors?
Not like I heard about this like after Coco, like this whole incident. I heard about a little bit of what happened.
Yeah. So industry professionals, they were a little bit quieter on this one, but it was still suggested that there's a little bit of corruption in every industry. It could be that it's not necessarily, "Oh my God, this show is rigged," but rather one of the producers was being weird. They argued it's not that deep. The show must go on, but it goes deeper. This is the last layer before Coco. A contestant's life was ruined on The Voice of China. Her name was Xing. She's from season 1, and she recently came forward with everything that happened behind the scenes. She said immediately after she passed the blind auditions, one of the producers came up to her asking her, "Hey, do you want to sign under this agency?" And she said, "I thought it was a little weird since I literally just passed the blind auditions. It's not like I'm out there making waves on the internet, amassing fans. Like I'm barely anybody." But he tries to convince her, no, it would be a smart choice. The judge, the team that you're on, that judge is signed to the same exact agency, so there would be an incentive for him to really focus on growing your talent this season. She tells the producer, "Okay, let me think about it." The next time she was on set, she goes up to her mentor, the judge, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I heard you're signed with this agency, right?" And he just looks at her so confused and says, "What are you talking about? I'm not signed with that agency."
Wow.
The producer had lied. Apparently, the producers went around after blind auditions for each season, signing as much talent as they could. And since a lot of the contestants, they're new to the industry, they don't have followings yet, the contracts were predatory. They're like 10-year-long contracts that are incredibly unfair, where the agency would make like all the profit. You would be working for next to nothing for 10 years. You would be owned by the label. So Xing is like, "Yeah, clearly I'm not going to take that deal." She denies the offer, and this was the start of the end for Xing.
Of her life?
A few days after she rejected the producer's offers, these rumors started popping up online. They were from alleged former middle school and high school classmates that said, "I went to school with Xing. She was a bully. She was rude."
Look at that. Isn't that interesting? It's kind of like they can control the media. Isn't that strange?
She was full of herself. She slept around. All she cared about were boys.
Wow,
There
bro.
were all sorts of accusations being thrown around online by people that Xing had never even met. She's like, "Middle school? I don't even know you." These were random people acting as if they went to school with her. But of course, nobody believed Xing. They thought, she's lying to keep her career. Of course, the bullies are lying. Then, some of Xing's private photos were leaked. Photos that she never sent anyone, that were never posted on the internet. They were being leaked. Very soon after, she was also cut from The Voice. Her reputation was ruined. Her dreams were practically ruined. But despite all these allegations, the show still went on. Viewers were still tuning in. And the newest season in 2022, people were getting really stoked. The Coco Lee was going to be one of the 4 judges. Now, I'm sure Coco Lee, at least to some degree, heard of the allegations, but Coco was not a woman that you could mess with. She's been known as this very fiery, sassy woman her whole career, her whole life, really. And she's probably thinking, if it's rigged, I'm going to call them out on it, and I'm just going to focus on helping my students. She's really just there to teach students how to sing. Which, I know it sounds like something you say in hindsight about people, but to give you some context, like I said, Coco is like the Shakira of China. She's a household name. She doesn't have to work anymore, but she chooses to. She's passionate. She's married to a billionaire, so it's not like she needs that like $2 to $3 million fee. In fact, it's kind of considered low for her. So she's really not on the show for money. She's not even there for fame or views. No one knew it at the time. But Coco had been diagnosed with breast cancer.
Dang.
And she would actually have a tumor removal during the filming of the show.
Dang.
Wow.
Her doctor, everyone close to her said, don't do the show. It's going to be so stressful for your body. I mean, yes, you're going to have fun with the students, but those are long set days. You have to show up to get your hair and makeup done, and then just all that stress on your body. Please. But she was like, I just want to help some smaller singers. You know, I think it'll be fun. I mean, I know it's going to be hard. I know it's going to be stressful, but I think I can make a difference. Coco would end up working really, really hard. I mean, pushing her body during this very difficult filming process. And finally, the show starts airing. So it actually starts airing while they're still filming, because it's all about the votes coming in and stuff, you know?
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind. The start of the season, it feels a little off already. Coco Lee's fans were quick to point out some of the weird details. For one, Coco is barely featured in the show. She gets like not much airtime, which everyone thought was odd, as so many people were anticipating her as a judge. There was this one scene that we later talk about where the editing was just so bizarre. Like, Coco is on set to perform a song with one of her students. They're both on stage harmonizing, and I guess it's tricky because they have to show two people singing at once. But Coco's head is just kind of like cut out and floating on the screen on one side. It felt like an intern had edited it. The editing just felt off. It didn't seem like something that you would see on The Voice. Like, the student had so many angles of them singing, standing from this side profile, and then Coco's head was just kind of like in the corner. Yeah, it was really weird. So people were very confused. And then all these little suspicions were confirmed September 28th, 2022. So this is while they're still filming and airing. A short video clip was leaked from what seems to be someone from the live audience of The Voice of China. It's like very short. Coco looks angry. She's standing up, yelling at the producers of the show, "Are you blind? Everyone is watching. Producer, give me the rules of the game. Why does a person who scored 73 points get a second chance, but the other one who scored 88.3 points does not get a second chance? Can you explain this? Is this fair? If you don't say it, everyone
They
else
have a
will
live
say,
studio
"To you,
audience?
It's not fair."
They got a live studio audience too, and they just I mean, I guess obviously since it's like they wear the same clothes daily and day by day, we see these things, but you know, it just goes on. Oh man.
我说的是事实，你们当然都会剪掉，我当然知道，这个叫做不公平。
So to provide you some context, Coco is furious, as she should be, because a student of hers was getting eliminated even though they had a score of 88.3. Meanwhile, other contestants from another team were given a second chance to advance into the next round when their score was 73. This is not even a matter of differences in creative direction or style. This is a straight up point system. How does that make sense? Coco is defending her student, getting angry on behalf of them about how unfair this is.
88.3，你们最低分的73，那个人可以再比一次，我的88.3的不可以。你找一个人来解释给我听这个游戏规则。谢谢。let me. 当然你们会所有的
It
剪
says
掉。
cannot
当然你们
cannot discuss this in public. Oh my. Employee, we cannot discuss this in public.
当然你们
And the
会
thing is too, you gotta understand, like, a lot of these people, these grunts, it's like they're just following orders. It comes from the top.
所有的剪掉，当然你们什么都会剪掉啦。我说的是事实，你们当然都会剪掉，我当然知道，这个叫做不公平。
I never heard like a female like speak this aggressively in Chinese. Is that wild to say? I mean, I don't watch like a lot of Chinese or Mandarin, a lot of media or like movies and stuff, but it's just it sounds pretty nice.
当然你们会所
Is that weird to say? I don't think so.
有的剪
And even that little That person says, "I love you, Coco," and then she said, 谢谢.
的不可以，你找一个人来解释给我听这个游戏规则。谢谢。
He was such a son of like a. Oh.
Let me please let me.
Then click. You know what, Titan? Thank you.
当然你们会所有都剪掉，当然你们什么都会剪掉了。我说的是事实，你们当然都会剪掉，我当然知道，这个叫做不公平。
Okay, how about in real life? Or like live action?
不要碰我，不要碰我，别人都不要
Don't
碰
touch me,
我。
don't touch me.
就是，你
Hold on.
等等，刚刚把我的学
You guys kicked out my student.
员要赶走，为什么？为什么？
This clip
Waisama.
leaked,
Waisama is why.
and everyone was like, okay, this makes sense now. With all the rumors about the show being unfair, unjust, and rigged, Coco Lee is definitely the type to call out that type of behavior, and the producers, just like they hated Joker, probably hated her too. But the show is still in the process of filming and airing, which could explain why Coco does what she does next. She tweets, "After coming to The Voice, every student's hard work really touched me. I'm also fully dedicated to being a mentor. Out of love for my students and after patient explanation and communication from the directorial team of The Voice, all misunderstandings have been solved. I hope that our team will be together forever. Please look forward to our team's performance tonight. Keep fighting." So it seemed like Coco didn't want her leaked clip to overshadow the work that her team had put in and how her students were being treated and viewed on the show. Her student that had
They
the
hacked
higher
into
score
her
but been
Exa.
eliminated actually ends up coming back on the show
Oh.
because
came
of the
back.
outrage by netizens and this leaked clip.
You never seen a Jackie Chan movie?
Ultimately,
like the
it
older
felt-
ones? No.
At least in that time being, right? Everything had been resolved behind the scenes between Coco.
Yeah, but what's her name wasn't even yelling like that. She had a couple lines, but it wasn't even like that. The only person from Rush Hour 2 that I can think about, the one that that Kara fought. That girl, she didn't even say much, so it didn't count.
Coco, the student, and the show. But Coco's fans were not as forgiving. When the season wrapped, Coco's fan page posted a poem on Weibo. And the poem roughly translates to finding like your determination in life and keep going and persevering. But if you take the first words of each line, it reads, "The voice of China is shit." Yeah. Coco also went on to delete anything on words of each line. It reads, "The voice of China is shit." Yeah. Coco also went on to delete anything on her page regarding the show the minute it wrapped, like the minute it was done premiering, like the finales.
Deleted The Voice?
Yeah, any tweets about The Voice, any pictures of The Voice, she deleted it.
Wow.
And she went back to being the Coco that everybody knew. The bright, optimistic one that always encouraged everybody around her, whose eyes would, they always said that her eyes turned into half moons when she smiled. But do you know what smiling depression is? So, smiling depression is a term for someone living with depression on the inside while appearing perfectly happy or content on the outside. So, from the outside, they seem... Sorry. Okay. So from the outside, they seem very put together, and it seems like they have life figured out. Some would say that these people even appear to be very happy, like they appear to be living a great life. Now, people who experience smiling depression, or people who experience depression yet continue to smile when they're around others, it's said that they may feel that others have it worse. So what do I have to be sad about? Or that they would burden others by expressing how they really feel. So during the filming of The Voice, Coco called one of her best friends and left a voicemail. She said, "Hey babe, if you're free now, I'm awake. Can you call me? I'm not trying to spread negativity to you. I'm just in so much pain. I can't sleep, I can't sit, and I can't walk. It's so serious now." And you can hear her crying in the end of the voicemail.
Hello，亲爱的，如果你现在有空，我起来了，你可以打给我吗？
Oh my
我的
god.
腿，我的腿好难受啊！好，不是跟你分享负面的东西哦，就是在燃烧，睡也不行，坐也不行，走也不行啊！现在好严重哦。反正你可以给我打给我。
July 5th, 2023, Coco's sisters, Carol and Nancy, announced to the world that Coco Lee had passed.
Oh dang.
They stated that Coco had tried to end things in her home in Hong Kong on July 2nd. She was rushed to the hospital, remained in a coma until she passed away on July 5th, 2023. 2023 was the 30th anniversary of Coco's debut in the industry. And her sisters wrote, "As Coco's family, we are grateful and honored to have such a good, beautiful, and outstanding sister. We thank God for giving us such a kind angel. I hope she's gone to a happier place and no longer suffers from depression." At the same time, in addition to missing Coco, I hope you can all spread her signature bright smile and sincere heart. Pass kindness and love to everyone around you. Help Coco continue that wish to let everyone around her feel love and happiness. Although Coco didn't stay with us for long, her light will shine forever. Signed, Carol and Nancy. It was also revealed by the family that Coco Lee had been diagnosed with breast cancer in the months before she passed. She had hidden this cancer diagnosis not only from the world, but she also hid it from her elderly mother. She just didn't want to burden her or stress her out with this. She didn't even tell her that she had gotten the tumor removed. She got the operation during the filming of The Voice of China, and thankfully she was in stable condition, and she was just fighting all of these battles by herself. Even on Coco's fan page, where she was me of that. On July 2nd, she left them a voicemail.
亲爱的，我是 Coco，感受到大家对我的爱跟支持，然后你们做我的后盾，我会加油。那这段时间呢，希望你们自己也身体健康快乐。我非常想念大家，我在努力。想念你们，我也非常想念你们哦，爱你。Thank you so much for the gifts. Beautiful and very thoughtful. Love you guys.
Her voice was upbeat,
so
excited, and warm. And that was what she wanted her fans to remember her for.
Performed in America.
Because this was the last message that she wanted them to have. This was the last time her fans would actually hear her voice, and she wanted to sound happy for them. Because that night, she would cut her life short. And it just felt like the whole world went into mourning. I mean, my husband is not the most involved when it comes to pop culture other than like Jay Chow. And I didn't know who Coco was prior, but I remember him being so shaken up when he heard this news. He said that he had never seen her not smiling. And I think that's like what netizens kept feeling was, I
think everyone was so shocked in China that day because
oh my gosh.
It's like you described, like she's like the last person you would expect it, you know, so that's why it hurts so much, like so shocking.
Yeah. And I think it's the idea of knowing that she's smiling for the world while she was holding all this pain inside. And it's almost like a heartbreaking realization. And, you know, of course, the people most impacted by her passing are her.
You know, this is... Never mind.
Her family members, her friends, her colleagues, her loved ones. But since she had been a household name, an icon, a lot of netizens, they were gathering online to support each other while processing all this news. I mean, a lot of them took to highlighting all the impressive things that Coco had done, not just in her life, but in her career and everything. Coco was 23 when she was the first Chinese singer that sang at the World Cup opening ceremony.
World Cup.
She sang Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon at the 73rd Oscars Awards.
How? 2001. Okay, copyright. Okay, copyright. She probably got rights to this song, but I don't got rights. Oh, she could sing. And I don't usually like to watch live performances like of people singing.
Wise, there has not been a successful, Asian artist. Hopefully, I'm able to change that. Why not?
Wow.
Why not? I don't know. Maybe it's just with time, eventually people will learn to accept Asian people singing, American songs or something like that. It's always tough for the first one, but I believe through time we can do it.
You see, I like that she didn't just go off and start blaming everybody. Well, the white man. Oh my gosh, I dropped my chopsticks. She was like, you know what? It's just with time and everything in different cultures, but hopefully, in the future we'll be able to normalize it. Wow, she was something else. She was something else.
And interestingly, she even received an invitation from the NBA to sing during their opening. Coco was so shocked. She's like, when did I like sports? What's going on? But they told her that Yao Ming said in multiple interviews that Coco was his icon and favorite
Ming
artist,
Yao.
and they wanted her there. Coco was also one of the very first Chinese artists to talk openly and on a global scale. She would talk to Western journalists about how she wanted Chinese artists to be seen worldwide. She said there's Western artists that the whole world listens to, regardless of what language we all speak. Why can't there also be Chinese artists? She had to field all these racist questions from these Western journalists that would ask her if she knew how to play all these super traditional Chinese instruments. And she's like, what? I'm a pop singer. Yeah. I mean, she just always had been this strong figure that stood for representation, equality,
I honestly, because she said these racist, did she say racist questions or racist, reporters?
I'm a pop singer. Field all these racist questions from
racist questions.
But Western journalists.
Yeah, but the thing is, all right, listen. If you, because, Titan, you're half black, right? So, if you were to go out, you're half Dominican, right? And you have to go out, and if somebody was, you go to, some country in, Switzerland or something, right? And there are, these older white people, and they look at you, they're like, oh, do you like to play bongos? Would you think, oh my goodness, that's so racist? Or would you think, he probably seen a lot of people that look like me play bongos, so he probably just assumed. And yeah, I dabble, but it's not racist. You know what I mean? There's not because I feel do you only think, when there's because it's kind of difficult with certain people. But I was gonna say, do you only think something is racist when there's hatred behind it? Or it's racist in general? What do you think? Because then you can just obviously say, oh, well, some of these people, they didn't really hate people. They just were conditioned to believe a certain thing, but that's still technically racist. What do you think? What do you think about what I just said?
That would ask her if she knew how to play all these super traditional Chinese instruments. And she's like, what? I'm a pop singer.
No freaking lie. Because I really want to learn how to play, the koto and the shamisen. Shimizen? I think shamisen. Yeah, because I really, because a lot of my characters in my story, play, some of these instruments. A few of my characters. And I want to actually know how to play them to kind of understand a little bit more of my characters. When I go to Japan, I'm going to be asking people, oh, do you play? And I'm not going to be on the racist stuff. I just really want to know. It's really interesting, because this is your guys' traditional instrument. Obviously, not everybody who's from America or from Mexico plays, what is their instrument? The traditional instrument that you think about, like a tambourine or a maraca. Is that racist? I don't think it is. But somebody might be like, yo, that's kind of offensive. Is it though? There's no, I'm just really asking the question, So these reporters could be like, oh, so do you play the guis? I don't know how to pronounce it, but do you play that instrument? I feel like it'd be well, she's a pop star, yes, but she's a musician, right? And obviously, we don't get a lot of Chinese musicians. I mean, like people that perform over here. So once I see one, I want to ask, especially because I was learned to know all Chinese people learn how to play piano when they're young. Obviously, that's probably not the case, but that's what I've seen in all of media. So if I see a Chinese person walk up to me, and I know she sings and everything, I'm like, oh, do you also play the piano? I'm a pop star. I'm like, I'm not saying that you're not, ma'am. I'm just asking. Do you also play the piano? Because I've noticed a lot of Chinese people in the media. I'm obviously not saying that everything is the same. Like, I'm not gonna ask you if you're a mathematician. Also, I'm just saying. Well, it's pretty. Is that racist to say? Is it though? I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, she just always had been this strong figure that stood for representation, equality, hard work, and she was just so compassionate. And she was known for her smile.
Yeah, it's way too high.
Because she passed in July and the voice drama happened in September and October-ish, netizens didn't really connect the two events. Until after her death, a 9-minute voice message of hers was leaked. The audio would reveal how she was severely mistreated, bullied, shamed, humiliated, and ultimately used by the Voice of China. In the voice recording, you can practically hear her shaking. And the always strong Coco, she seemed...
Isn't her husband a billionaire?
Not even
He should have been like,
hurt.
I'm buying the studio.
She seemed devastated, like
What?
someone had shattered
I would
her.
have bought the studio. What? I'd have been like, oh, I'm a billionaire, by the way. I'd have like, what's the issue? And I'm like, well, I don't like how they're treating the customers, and they're very unfair. And I'm like, oh, really? All right. What's the company called? Voice China. I'm like, oh, don't worry about it. I'm like, what do you mean? And then the next day she wakes up. I'm like, here you go. Well, what is this? It's yours now. It's what? You own the thing. You wanted it. That's it. Man, I got money. I'm throwing it around. I got millions of dollars in the bank account. I'm buying the voice and I'm giving it to her. I'm buying the voice China, and I'm giving it to her. Come on now. What's LeBron say? It's too easy. It is. It's easy. I got $1 billion. And if she takes over, and we already see that, there's a lot of viewers, people are interested in the show. If she takes over, everybody's sticking around.
I don't know if like a lot of people can relate to this, but I feel like everyone has a few moments in their lives where they almost feel like their hope in humanity is shattered. And it sounds like that.
我是在好声音最后那一天10月14号忍痛，而且我的左腿什么感受？我告诉你，像是那种 hypothermia， 我们就跟他们说好了。
Let me rewind.
因为我不要人家看到我拿拐杖。
It's like Japanese and Korean. It's so much easier for me to like follow because I listen to it a lot more. But like this is like a whole different language. I mean, obviously it is, but it's just throwing me off. Let me.
10月14号忍。
Chinese or Mandarin or Cantonese. I don't know which one is like but like I got to like lock in, But obviously when I'm done, like, because I want to get like 75% fluency in Japanese, and then we can move on to Korean, because I know a few things here and there in Korean, but then we'll go to the rest of the world.
很痛，而且我的左腿
My leg.
什么感受？
My left leg. Let me tell you.
告诉你，像是那种 hypothermia， 我们就跟他们说好了，因为我不要人家看到我拿拐杖，也不可能坐轮椅。我一定要坚强，所以我死都要站在那个舞台。是我去了好声音，是把我的命都不要了。我的医生求我不要去，因为我这个乳癌是个 ticking time bomb，understand？ 我也不管， 因为
But I don't
好
care
是因为
because
喜
I
欢
like
这
the
个
show.
节目，
What the heck?
我因为
Where is this guy? Where is our husband at, bro? I don't care because I like the show. No, ma'am. Ma'am, what is going on?
真的是爱这个节目。我觉得这些年轻人是
These
充满
young
希望，
kids,
爱音乐。
so
我们
much
的
hope.
共同语言就是爱音乐。
We
我
all
牺
love
牲自
music.
己无所谓。
I
我没
sacrifice
想到
myself,
原来
but
他们都
I
是一
didn't
堆
know
坏
I'm
人
evil people.
去
Yeah,
整我， 因为
they
I
bullied
told the
me
truth， 我说
because
真
I told
相。
the truth.
我去为了什么呢？不是为了我自己，
Is
我自己
Chinese?
什么都没
I mean, it could be because because I'm wondering, is Chinese her first language? I'm pretty sure because, but like, because she is, she keeps jumping into English. I don't know if it's because like the translation, like the words that she, like, cause she's, obviously has a whole bunch of emotion. Maybe the words that she's saying, like, or how she's feeling, she's unable to say it in Chinese. Like, the translation isn't simple, or she knew this was gonna leak. I don't know, cause this is a voicemail to somebody, or that person
得到
might
我
be
到
Chinese American.
现在那个 contract 多少钱都不知道，我根本不该在乎。我去了就是为了这个节目好，我在想了这些孩子无辜，突然间没有一个妈妈，我去帮，多少钱我不管 ，I don't care， 我不是为了钱，我是为了这个节目，为了这些孩子。
I do have to give you some context before we get into the audio.
Before.
The best position for a baby to be born during birth is head down, right? That's why if the baby's head is not down, moms will be in pools. They'll be trying to do handstands in pools. Babies are less likely to experience complications like umbilical cord compression and other things during birth if they're head down. So that's the ideal position. Coco was not in that position when she was in her mother's tummy. So instead of being head down, Coco's feet were pointed towards her mom's pelvis. Now, in these types of complex situations, doctors typically will opt for a cesarean, a C-section, instead of a natural birth. I don't know the specific reasoning of why they opted to try a natural birth anyway, but it was clear that something went very wrong. The doctor who delivered Coco pulled very hard on Coco's foot to get her out. They accidentally dislocated her left foot and her pelvis during this process.
Dang.
Baby Coco. So because of that, at just 2 years old, Coco had to undergo surgery where they put a metal rod into her leg. Yeah, they pulled her so hard out of her mother that her pelvis and leg were dislocated. And it just seemed like this would be a medical condition that she would struggle with her whole life.
Of course.
And that's crazy because she never told people because she didn't want them to see that on stage. She didn't want to be known for, oh, she did so well even with her leg.
Really?
Yeah. Throughout her entire career, she always struggled with massive, massive pain in her legs. She said when she's sitting, standing, walking, just on really bad days, there would be so much pain. When she was dancing on stage, nobody would ever guess that Coco had hip and leg problems. But she said that was the only time the pain went away, was when she was dancing. And she said, I'm sure it's probably because it's the only thing that made me truly happy. Because the minute that she would get off the stage, it would be shooting pain. So it took her a lot of physical time to recover from each concert. Now, on the taping of The Voice, Coco's leg had gotten progressively worse, potentially from the stress of her breast cancer diagnosis as well, and just like the lengthy filming days. So she wasn't allowed to really stand for long periods of time. Even her doctor was like, you cannot hold your own weight.
I have a question. Like, would I be wrong if, let's say, was married to a woman like Coco, right? And the doctor said don't go, right? And obviously, I'm thinking about her health and I don't want her to go. If I were to just make her not go, am I like in the wrong? Because I'm just like, listen, I'm thinking about your health. Actually, that's bad. That's bad. I don't mean like, I just mean like, let's say, like before, because I'm like, you're going to be going over there for like this. And she says, yeah, I know it starts. We're going to start shooting in like, I don't know, in like May, right? And right now we're in March. And I'm like, all right, let's go to, let's go to let's go to, I don't know, just they're in China, so let's go to, not close. Let's go to Germany. You know, let's just go away, because I want to spend time with you until you're busy and you're. She's like, okay, fine, let's go. And we go, and then obviously I'm a billionaire, so we got a house out there somewhere. So we're there, we're just relaxing, right? And then we're there for like a few months, and it's about time. She's like, well, we're gonna have to get back home because shooting is about to start. And I'm like, oh yeah, shooting is about to start, huh? And then I'm like, oh wait, let me I'll be right back. I'm about to head to the store real fast. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then passports gone, phone gone. And she's like, what happened? I'm like, I'm sorry, but you're not going. You're not going to be on that show. She's like, what? I told him I was going. I'm like, no. I feel like it's crazy because this is like the second time. This is the second time that my solution is like we leave in the state and passports are just gone. We leave in the country and passports are just gone. But at the end of the day, bro, like, I mean, man, I don't know, because I feel like if we didn't have to go that crazy, I just like try to get her a wait, hold up, let me see. What's her name? Coco? What is her name? Coco singer? Coco Lee. Really? Coco Lee? Okay. Coco Lee. Dang. Dang. Oh, okay. I mean, he not super old compared to her. Oh, wait. I mean, not super old. I mean, kinda, if you think about it, like, too hard. Man, sad. So sad.
For long periods of time. Like, you need to have a cane or some sort of support, like a walker. Now, for the sake of stage presence, because now she's singing with her student on stage, she's like, I don't want a cane, I don't want a wheelchair, because that's all everyone will talk about. They're not going to talk about our performance. They're not going to talk about my student's talent. They're going to talk about, why does Coco have a wheelchair? So Coco came up with this plan. She was going to be performing with her student on stage, and they were going to stand next to each other so that she could lean on him for support. Since it seemed like mainly it was her left leg that was in a ton of pain, maybe using him as support, she makes it very clear to directors, producers, everyone on the show, the showrunners, everyone. But during the actual taping of the show, someone in the student's earpiece tells him, go to the other side of the stage. Because they're supposed to enter, I think, in different locations and then, join together, not like walk on together. So he ends up completely on the other side of the stage singing, and he looks stressed and confused because what? Like, I'm supposed to be there for Coco. But Coco keeps going. She sings. And with nobody to lean on, putting all of that pressure on her leg and trying to hold in this pain while she's singing, just think about that pressure too.
Oh,
first of all, Coco takes her profession very seriously, but if Coco messes up or cuts the performance short, the person that suffers the most is not Coco.
Yo, like violence ain't the answer, but like sometimes, like it's not the answer. It's not the answer no time, but like, man, oh my. Like, harsh words, not harsh, but like loud words have to be spoken. Oh man.
it's her student. So she's holding in the pain, singing her heart out. She ends up falling on the stage.
Whoa.
Her leg gives out. And again,
She fell?
instead of ruining the moment for her student, she sits on the floor singing her heart out for her kid, right? It's not really her kid, but that's what she called them, my kids. After they were done, not a single producer or showrunner or production assistant came to help Coco up. Not a single person.
What? Not even the
judges
student?
were so shocked. Finally, one of the celebrity judges starts walking on stage to help Coco, but a crew member runs on stage to drag her off. The judge that's trying to help Coco. And they, like, Coco said she could hear them being dragged backstage, and the celebrity judge is just screaming at them, like, what are you doing? Why is nobody helping her? And
Yo,
Coco said, literally for
I don't care at that point, bro. I'm like, move! Get up off me! What the heck y'all doing? People in the crowd gonna be looking at me. I'm like, yo, these people are crazy. Gosh, Coco, get up, man. God, what's up with y'all? What the heck? Oh my gosh, man. Like, things like this really piss me off. They truly do piss me off, bro.
what reason? People said that they just wanted to humiliate Coco. They wanted to show her, hey, we run the show. We have the power here. There was no point in them doing any of this than just utter humiliation and heartlessness. That's why in the scene of her singing, remember how I said her head was just kind of like floating on one side? It was like weirdly edited. It's because she was on the ground. And they didn't want to show that. They didn't want to show that she had fallen. They didn't want anyone to know what Coco had endured. So they edited to make it look like everything is fine. She never fell down. A few months after the show wrapped, Coco had to get another operation for her leg. Her hip joint had been dislocated and her nerves had been suppressed without any protection from her cartilage. And after the operation...
Yo, no freaking lie. What kind of husband is this, bro? Like, where her husband at, bro? No lie, I'm not even playing. Cause like ain't no way my wife go tell me what they done did, and I'm just gonna be sitting by just, oh well, things happen. The show is the show. What kind of... I don't know if y'all seen The Dark Knight. Is it The Dark Knight? Or Batman Begins? I don't remember. The one when he walks into the hotel and then the girls are in the pool and then he said, "Sir, the girls can't be in there," and then he buys the building. Bro, her husband's a billionaire. I am buying The Voice China. And guess what? All of them producers back there. Y'all know where I'm going with this. All the producers back there. You think I'm gonna fire them? Oh no, they're not getting fired. Oh no, they're not getting fired. You know, I'm gonna stop it right there. I'm gonna let y'all imaginations go. This is crazy, bro. It's truly crazy.
She would have to relearn how to walk.
I blame her husband.
In the 9-minute audio clip that was
Partially.
released, Coco was talking
Obviously,
about what
she
happened the day
accepted
of The
it,
Voice
but-
when she fell on stage. And she said, I was in so much pain. Let me tell you what my left leg felt like. It was like hypothermia, as if it was surrounded by snow below 40 degrees. It was so cold that it was almost numb. No, not even almost numb. It was numb. And let me tell you something else. I told them that I didn't want to be seen with crutches or a wheelchair on stage. I wanted to be strong. I just felt like I was giving my life away for this show. The doctors begged me not to go because of my breast cancer. They said it was a ticking time bomb, but I didn't care. I just loved the young people who participated, and they were just so full of hope and love for music. And music is this universal language. It's our mutual language. About the performance where she collapsed, she said, I couldn't stand still. I had nothing to lean on since they took away my other student to the other side of the stage. I was wearing 7-inch heels so that I could be pretty. I wanted to be beautiful for the show. I spent my own money buying the prettiest dress that I could find for the show. but I just couldn't stand. And I really tried to keep standing. Nobody on that show's production even thought about me for a second, and it was so humiliating. I felt like I was being bullied, like nobody cared about my feelings. I'm the happiest when I dance, and now I can't even dance anymore.
他们都说答应没问题，真正的录影的时候，你知道吗？他们把泽鹏 Q 走了，走到另外一边，不站在我的旁边，我站不稳，我没有办法撑。我穿着7寸高的鞋子，为了漂亮，为了这个节目好看，自己花钱去买衣服，最漂亮的衣服，好吗？他把泽鹏 Q 走了，我站不住，我一段，我真的不行。你们那一天只是回顾了电视台，有人想到我的感受吗？28年做一个歌手，站在台上被人侮辱，这个叫侮辱。被欺负，有人在乎这个感受吗？怎么可以让我这样子吃亏？我的妈呀，这个叫什么东西来的？好像上天逼我，因为我最会能熬，我是最拼的，我拼命都不要，我拼，为了别人不是为自己。好，现在上天逼我，我不能了。我现在跳舞都不可以，跳舞是让我最快乐的，我不可以。好，你们现在知道我的故事了吗？
She continued about the voice of China. I felt like it was okay if I sacrificed myself for young people, but I never imagined the show to be such monsters. So she's basically saying, even though doctors told me not to go on the show because of my breast cancer, I wanted to sacrifice even my health or potentially even her life, really, because she wanted to help these young people. She had no idea she was walking into this crazy, disgusting environment.
Coco Lee.
She said, they played me because I told the truth about her student getting eliminated with the higher points. She said, the truth is there's something wrong with their competition and their rules. The only reason I went back to filming was because I didn't want my students to lose a mentor suddenly. So I went for the kids, but I told the producers their competition isn't fair. It's not fair and they need to change it. There were 3 other mentors. They had 9 students, 3 on each team. I only had 2. One of my students had to leave immediately, even though he had a higher score than everybody else. And I told them, that's not fair. Coco said the producer's assistants threatened to call security on her if she didn't immediately leave after she, quote, caused a scene about the unfair rules. She said, that's how they were talking to me. 28 years of being a singer, no one has ever talked to me like that. So I stood up. One of them started pulling on my shirt, getting physical. She tried to pull me off stage. But my team stopped that woman and screamed, don't touch her. So I know there's a lot going on right now. I need to give you a quick recap. The video clip was leaked, remember, when they were still airing, of Coco being upset that her student was being eliminated despite having the higher score. The whole nation agreed with Coco, and there was so much outrage against the voice of China. That student was brought back into the competition, and Coco released that tweet that I told you about, where she stated things had been resolved. It was revealed in this 9-minute audio clip. The only reason she tweeted that was because the show basically said, if you don't tweet this, we're not going to bring your student back. She said, they threatened me, but I had to protect my student. For me, this show was nothing, but to him, it was everything. So I cleaned up after the show's mistakes.
Threaten me, 威胁我，所以飞哥有机会在这个舞台上再一次发挥，让大家看到他多么的厉害。
This part is very true. If Coco didn't tweet the quote resolution statement, the voice of China would most likely be dragged to filth and boycotted in the middle of a season. She wrote, I just wanted my student to have another chance to sing, to prove to the world how good he was and how much he deserved to be on the stage. And I was mistreated, but I still swallowed it. She said, I watched the last episode. It's like I was never on that show. All my hard work, all my efforts, my students, nothing was shown. It's like I was never on the program. I sacrificed for the kids who love music, even if it meant I was throwing my own life away. I just wanted to help. I don't speak Mandarin. I have the full translation of the audio, but I don't even think we all need to speak the same language to hear her pain through the clip.
最后一集我看了， 真的好像我没去过一样。我所有的努力，花的心思，一切都看不见。可是你知道我花多少的心思吗？我也因为这样子，我的身体把它拉垮了。我希望你们好好听住，也永远记得这一刻。我牺牲自己，为了好声音，为了这一群学员，这些孩子喜欢音乐的，对音乐有希望的孩子们，你
It's so
懂吗？
crazy hearing stories like this because I'm just like, yo, all this happened 2 years ago, right? And all these people's worlds, even like her husband, the not this lady's husband, but the lady who be Stephanie, the person who be singing, her husband was crying, talking about how this impacted like China and everything. And I'm just like, yo, I'm over here just like in 2023, I don't know what was going on, but this never crossed my mind. Obviously, because I don't know nothing about this, but like hearing these stories are just so fascinating. It really just shows you how tiny you are in the grand scheme, you know, because the world's still moving when you're sleeping, you know.
我觉得来得很值得，因为我感受到就是这一群年轻人很热血，很真正的爱音乐。我觉得我真的很幸福，我为你们觉得骄傲。
所以没关系的，事情都过了。这个世界有时候会碰到一些非常坏的人，坏心眼的人。那我也了解，你其中的合约也是跟灿星合作。所以他们要说什么，你必须要听啊。年轻人，你现在要的就是机会，我懂。最终我想跟你说的，你那一段，那一首歌是唱得完美的，非常完美。这个节目就是这样子嘛，黑幕，这个节目就是玩耍嘛。然后他们已经有规定，他们想赢的人说无所谓。无所谓，所以就是说留下的，这么用心去做你的编曲，就变成你每一次留下的都是最好的作品。那一天发生的过去了，从那些学习就好了。
I think you can tell when someone has the voice of experiencing just severe injustice. It's not even anger, it's like unjust. After Coco's death, almost everyone stood up for her, including Jackie Chan, Michelle Yeoh. They all posted Voice of China, apologize. Former winners of the Voice of China rebuked their title. They said,
Who?
I don't want to be
Michelle?
The Voice of China rebuked their Voice of China, apologize. Jackie Chan, Michelle Yeoh.
Michelle Yeoh sounds familiar.
They all posted Voice of China, apologize. Former winners of the Voice of China rebuked their title. They said, I don't want to be known as the winner. It's embarrassing.
中国好声音，中国好声音，中国好声音。偶尔，以后我也不用这个头衔，我觉得突然真的很羞耻。
Former contestants that were too scared to speak out against The Voice, they started sharing their experiences. Some said you can never win with talent alone. Even if you're a 10 out of 10, if there's someone paying a producer that's a 6 out of 10, they're going to win the whole show. And it wasn't just contestants. Interns were coming out to say while working on the show they felt used, overworked. Producers said, oh, put it on your card and I'll reimburse you for it. They were never reimbursed. Some of them worked on Coco's season and said the crew were noticeably rude and physical with Coco. They would even yell at her for simple things like taking a bite.
Bro. Oh, not my wife,
Voice
bro.
of China's...
I'm telling you, I'm buying Voice of China. That's the first step. And then we'll continue from there.
Licensing company is a public company. It's a Chinese company, so each voice is licensed by a different organization per country, right? They are a public company and their share prices dropped by 24% following this scandal. They temporarily suspended the Voice of China, stating it was going to be under investigation. Actually, the government was like, we're going to investigate. Let's just say we don't know the resolution, but it doesn't look like they're going to be coming back. And for a while, the whole internet was just after the Voice of China. But things got a little bit more confusing because at Coco's funeral, another, quote, villain becomes trending on social media. There was a strange incident where Coco's billionaire husband and his 2 daughters from a previous marriage show up at the funeral. And
oh, hold up now. Are we getting to
husband and his 2 daughters from a previous marriage show up at the funeral. And one of Coco's sisters screams at Bruce, Coco's billionaire husband, "This evil man killed my sister." And that is how Bruce, Coco's husband, almost became public enemy number 2 on Chinese social media.
Okay, hey.
So to get into her marriage, I'm gonna briefly tell you about Coco's life. Coco's life kind of feels like a movie. Like there's a lot of ups and downs, and through it all,
You see, he has to. You see, listen.
She's the main character.
You see, I could not like a husband now. Listen, my wife would have never been going through this, but now let's hear what's going on.
Is how it feels. Coco's mom was pregnant with Coco when their father passed away from pneumonia, and now Coco's mom was alone to raise her 3 daughters, and there were these stories about when Coco was small. She said that she had heard people around her mom telling her, just give her up for adoption. It's going to be sad, but she's the youngest, you know, she's going to be adoptable, and it's going to be better for you and the other 2 daughters because she's going to get a family of her own, and you can focus on your financial stability. This is just too hard. You can't raise 3 girls. Coco's mom absolutely refused. But it said that it didn't stop Coco from being scared, that she was going to be, quote, given up at any time. And it's actually speculated that this is when she started smiling and being so positive, because she wanted to be someone that people wanted to be around so that she could stay with her family. Eventually, Coco's mom would remarry and move to the US, and all of her sisters are so accomplished. One of them is a doctor, the other one's a lawyer, and so Coco is like, you know what, I'm gonna do that too, right? So in high school one day, she's studying really hard. She finally gets a weekend break, goes to a karaoke bar, and they're doing this little special.
Oh, so she was
They're
born
like,
in
hey,
America.
you can record your own
she was raised in
mixtape.
America.
And they're like, but you gotta pay us for the karaoke session. She's like, okay, let's do it for fun. So all of her friends, they put their songs on this mixtape, and one of her friends takes it home. Coincidentally, that friend of Coco's, her family owns a restaurant. This is in the US. And they start playing Coco's tape at this Chinese restaurant. And customers would get up mid-meal, mid-bite, walk up to the counter and be like, hey, who's the singer of this song?
Wow.
And they're like, oh, she's a high school kid. Like, it's not even a famous kid. She's a literal high school kid. My daughter's friend. And they're like, well, is she selling an album? And they're like, no, she's not. But this is when Coco was like, okay, maybe I can do something. So at 18, she moves to Hong Kong, and she just starts doing all these singing competitions. It was really hard. She was signed in a label, but she was making no money for the first few years. She was making about $50 a month, or living off $50 a month. Just bread and noodles. That's it. Nothing. And the first few albums, it just wasn't hitting. To give you some context, the conventional beauty standard at the time was super feminine. I mean, I guess it still is now, right? But more so back then. And Coco did not fit the visuals. And her voice sounded good in these types of songs, but her voice is like a strong, powerful, stable voice. And these songs were just not showcasing that. So for a really long time, it's not working until finally she's like, you know what, I'm just gonna make some fun music. And it flew off the shelves. Her album sold 1 million physical copies within 3 months. The music video of the title song, Coco is wearing a fur coat with shiny red hair put up in space buns. She looked hot, powerful, glamorous, feminine, all at once. And everyone was like, oh my God, this is crazy. So the music trend at that moment was super sad and emo. Like every single artist looked like they were going through a breakup in their music video, you know, looking out the window crying. And here's Coco dancing so fun in a fur coat and space buns. And people were like, this is crazy. This is so good. So her label, they start leading into that Western side of Coco. And she was just this wild, free-spirited person. And people loved it.
Have I heard any of her music?
Including a Canadian billionaire by the name of Bruce Rockowitz. He's a bit older than Coco. Okay, like 16 years older than Coco. And he was living in Hong Kong at the time, running a few businesses. That makes it sound like he's a small business owner, like a few major corporations, right? And the two, they just get swept up in this 1-year whirlwind romance. And he proposes to Coco with a 9-carat diamond ring.
And she says yes.
And Coco's like, "Oh my God, yes, I do."
Oh, she saw.
But then
she saw
immediately
the
after
B behind his name, and was like, "Oh, he got money."
she's like, "Wait, I don't know if I do."
Oh wait,
And
never
it's
mind.
not because she didn't love Bruce, but the speculation was her dad passed when her mom was pregnant. And it seemed like Coco would rather shield herself from the pain of losing someone she loved. She would rather close herself off to that. And, you know, with marriage, it's really hard to do that. You're like in it. And so she kept pushing off the marriage year after year. They were engaged for like 8 years. And in 2011, they finally got married. Their wedding reportedly cost around $20 million.
Why?
Some of the guests were Jackie Chan, Oprah Winfrey, Beyonce.
Oh, she had Oprah there?
Which is wild, you know? Like, I'm sure Coco was fine, but imagine walking down the aisle and Beyonce's watching you, right? But they were really just this very cute couple. Coco was always praising her husband, and she said in an interview, there are some people where only girls like them, and there are some people where only guys like them. But Bruce is the kind of person that everyone likes. He's nice, he's got a good heart, and you can't help but want to get close to him. And when you talk to him, he just cares about everyone. He's very sincere. On Valentine's Day, they would buy each other flowers. She would wake up early if Bruce was out of the country for work, and she would watch her husband's interviews on Bloomberg, and she would proudly Weibo about it like a proud wife. And then I think somewhere along the line, things got tricky in the marriage. You know, some would say it fell apart. Some would say it got rough. I don't know. They were together for 20 years. That's all we know. I'm sure they went through a lot of ups and downs.
Of course, like
any
any
marriage. It is
marriage.
alleged that one of the dark points in their relationship was when Coco was struggling to conceive. I don't think it's because Bruce blamed her for not being able to conceive or anything like that, or at least I didn't see any allegations of that. But I think just going through IVF is very taxing. I mean, you have to inject these long, thick fertility needles into your stomach for more than 10 days in a row to try and retrieve eggs. The whole retrieving of the eggs process is crazy, and if it doesn't work, you have to go through another round.
She was born. I mean, she was with she knew him for 20 years, but she started to try to want to have kids in 2011. Right? Obviously, you know, there's other factors, but I just want to know how old she was because she was 40 something when she passed, or when she, you know, so she was 48, so 20 years, 20, wait, I don't even need to do it that way, I just need to do 3, 2, 5, so she's 25 years older than me, then now I gotta do that, so she was 36 when she tried to have kids. Dang. I mean, let's just continue. It's not impossible, but it's a lot harder.
Physically painful. Your hormones are all over the place. There's tremendous psychological pain involved. Coco apparently went through 9 separate IVF attempts.
Wow.
Eventually, she would give up on that journey. And in 2020, people noticed that Coco was barely posting about her husband anymore. Instead of talking about his interviews on Bloomberg, she was now sharing quotes on Instagram that would read things like, "Be strong to heal yourself because you can. It takes great courage and time to heal broken hearts. Courage is not innate, but requires continuous learning, improvement, and practice. I'm still in the process of learning and fighting too."
Speculating.
At the beginning of 2023, there were rumors that Bruce had cheated on her multiple times and the two were officially living separately. The allegations were pretty specific. The allegation was that Coco treated Bruce's 2 daughters as her own, but when they found out about their father's infidelity, they dropped Coco. They just stopped talking to her, didn't care about her anymore, was the allegation.
Excuse me.
Look, I don't know.
Allegation.
I don't know if he cheated or didn't cheat. I think only those that are close to Coco and Bruce know the truth. But that's not why he becomes a second villain in this story.
What the heck you tell us this, girl?
There was another incident. So July 6, 2023, the day after Coco's passing, Bruce released an obituary in Chinese media saying that the whole family was by her side the day she passed. In addition to Bruce, his 2 daughters being listed on the obituary, it also included Coco's 2 sisters, Nancy and Carol. Nancy and Carol claimed that Bruce didn't even consult them about this obituary, that they had no idea that he was releasing this. So it didn't seem like a united front. It didn't seem like a family that was coming together to support each other. And then the funeral service incident took place. And honestly, I don't know how to feel about it. I don't think it's my place to make judgments. It does seem like the couple experienced a lot of ups and downs in their 2-decade-long relationship. I don't think any of us, the netizens, will know exactly what happened behind closed doors. I don't even want to speculate because family relations are always just so tricky. But I will say that we do kind of know what happened behind closed doors, behind the Voice of China. Like a constant reminder to the industry that there are always going to be people that stand up for what is right. There's going to be people like Coco Lee that are not afraid to speak their minds, and I think netizens are going to support them. This case is not just the death of one of the brightest stars in the industry, but it's the fact that her death exposed some of the industry's darkest secrets, and just how Coco lived till the very end, trying to instill some integrity into this industry. And she was so passionate about the art itself, singing, dancing, performing. She just wanted to share that with people, to teach people that. And that's what we should remember her for. Someone who made a career out of her passion, and someone who passed to make sure that everyone else behind her could also do the same. I think it's also just another reminder to us that people around us that seem the most bubbly or laugh the easiest and the loudest, they might be the ones fighting some of the biggest demons. So let's just all show each other some compassion. 2 of Coco's closest friends spoke at her funeral. Coco had tried to exit on July 2nd, but she ended up passing away on July 5th. And a sad coincidence was, it was the day of her best friend's daughter's birthday. During her speech, her best friend emotionally said, "My daughter is this adorable little girl. July 5th is her birthday, but Coco chose to leave us on this day. She played a huge joke on me, and I don't like it. Every day on this year, am I supposed to celebrate my daughter's birthday, or am I supposed to mourn Coco's death? She shouldn't have played this joke on me." Coco's other best friend stated, "I still can't accept the fact that this happened. You be an angel in the heavens, Coco, and we will meet as angels one day. I love you, Coco, forever." And that is the case of Coco Lee and the cancellation behind the Voice of China. Let me know your thoughts in the comments.
I mean, it says that, but I was, because it's like, I'm used to hearing it's rough. It really is rough.
Bada bing, bada boom.
I think that there's something special about like these late nights with friends. There is some magic there. I feel like maybe it's even more special after midnight. There's something about sitting around, eating, gossiping, talking. The 4 women sat at the corner of this packed barbecue restaurant, and they placed their order. They're like salivating at this point. "Oh, a few beers, please." It almost feels like a celebration of sorts. They're sitting there laughing, catching up, reminiscing of the past. One of the girls gets a phone call. She's like, "Oh, sorry, excuse me, let me go take this outside. I'll be right back." She rushes outside, and like a lot of us, she starts pacing while she's on the phone. And by the time the phone call ends, she realizes that she's out of view from the restaurant. She starts heading back, and immediately, the hairs on the back of her neck are standing straight up. The once peaceful barbecue restaurant, just pure chaos now. The doorway is blocked by a group of men. They're physically assaulting 3 defenseless, innocent women. Her 3 best friends are being assaulted inside of the barbecue restaurant. They were being kicked in the face. They were being stomped on their faces. These men were threatening to kill them, drag them out of the restaurant by their hair. She didn't know these people. Neither did any of her friends. This was random. They were being randomly attacked by strangers, a group of full-grown men. All 4 of these girls that were peacefully enjoying their night out would end up hospitalized by the end of the night. All because one of them had simply had the audacity to reject one of the men.
Bada bing, bada boo.
March 16th of 2023, a Korean live streamer by the name of Ayeong posts on her Instagram. So this is like a few months ago, earlier this year. And she posts that she's quitting her online career, or at least for the foreseeable future. She's like, I'm done. I'm taking a break. Her post was kind of long, but it goes into depth about how she just wants to live a more authentic life. She wants to post on Instagram like a normal person. She doesn't want to be caught up in the numbers and the pressure and all of these extra stressors. She says, you know, I'm never going to forget the support that I receive from you guys. I'm still going to respond to DMs, and maybe in the future, one day, maybe, I'm going to be back on YouTube after I live a normal life for a while. She wrote that she's really excited for her life and just wants to truly be a normal person. Now, obviously, her viewers have mixed feelings about this. Some of them are happy for her. Some of them feel this bittersweetness. A lot of them just feel sad. A lot of them are just devastated. It felt like it came out of nowhere. Not only that, the post was so vague. It's not like some big event took place online. It's not like some personal life event that they knew of took place. It just kind of felt like she was leaving for mental health reasons, but nobody knew exactly why. Did something happen? And when something's that vague on social media, people are gonna come up with speculations. Even recently in the US, an American YouTuber posted about how she had gone to a potluck with a cult. Do you remember this? It was like all over social media, and then she just disappeared